Today we're going to talk about the clarinet. So the clarinet. We make sure that all clarinet players in our wind ensemble or advanced band play the same clarinet. Our choice of clarinet, E11. If you don't have that, that's not a top major thing. Next thing is we make sure that we test out the instruments. I've seen a lot of bands that their instruments just don't play. So we bring in either a friend that plays clarinet or myself, and we actually play the clarinet and make sure it works. The next thing is we make sure the mouthpiece, everyone plays the exact same mouthpiece. What we use is the B45. Why? Because that's what we have. But we make sure everybody plays the B45. Sure, we would love to have everybody play the 5RV Lyres, but they're just a little too costly. But the B45 seems to be a pretty good standard, and we like using that. The other thing too is we make sure everybody uses the Robner ligature. That's my preference, but the Robner ligatures I think gives them a little more darker sound. They can play out a lot more, and also kind of hold that sound together. Reeds. Now, when they start, when all woodwinds start, we start them off on 2.5 Rico. Why? Because they're cheap. Okay, they're cheap, so we can give them out. If they break them, that's fine. But then when you get into the advanced band, they all switch to Van Doren. Now, if they start on 2.5 Rico, we're going to jump them up to either a 2.5 Van Doren or a 3 Van Doren, because the Van Doren reeds are a little thicker, they're a little harder, but they'll wind up going to about 3.5. And the kids know. So if I ask a kid off the street, like, what reed do you play? When we ask a kid what reed they play, they know exactly what size and name. What reed do you play?
3.5 Van Doren.
Van Doren. They know. They don't go, because they know exactly what they do. Okay, so they know they got the same mouthpiece, they got the Robner ligature, they got the reed. The next thing is they have a mouthpiece guard. I believe that's what it's called. It's for the top teeth. Some are see-through, some are black. We like either or. I think we just have the see-through ones this year because of cost. But they'll last 2 or 3 years. But have that on, I think gives them a little more grip on their top teeth so they can grab onto the mouthpiece, have a little more firmer embouchure. And that, as far as equipment, is everything. The other thing for saxophone and clarinet is make sure they all have a mouthpiece cap. Always. Now the Robner ligatures will come with a special bigger cap, but they always have their cap. We got to train them since day number 1. They put their cap on to protect the reed and to keep it moist. Always. Very crucial, very important. Every student clarinet or saxophone has 5 reeds, each of them numbered with a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is for Monday, 2 is for Tuesday, 3 is for Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Thursday is number 4, and Friday is number 5. They rotate each one, so they use this reed on Monday, this reed on Tuesday. Get the picture? Now, what if they use it on the weekend? Guess what? They get to choose any one they want. Now, besides numbering the reeds, that actually rotates the reeds so they last longer. And it saves money because they don't have to buy them as frequently. Now the other thing we get to do, or we have the kids use, is a water bottle, medicine bottle. They're pretty much watertight. We have them fill it up about halfway. So when they get the instrument out, or when they get the instrument, they open their case, they get the reed, put it in there, let it soak, put together the instrument, and then they get the reed out, which is soaked. Okay, they suck it out. And this gives them a little more vibration, let the reed vibrate a little bit more freely. The next thing we do is we actually flush the reeds. Come on. So they can do this at home or a water fountain at school. Okay, we put the water on, just make sure the water pressure is not too high, and then they're going to flush the reed. And they do this once a week just to kind of flush out the impurities of the reed. If you look at the reed, sometimes you see little specks of lint from the case or little, stuff on there. This will flush it out, cleans out the pores, and again, I think it lets the reed vibrate a little bit more better. We can even have reed flushing parties. Now we're going to talk about the embouchure. You must create a seal on the top part and on the bottom part. The chin must be flat and pointed down. Okay? But again, we also do a lot of wiggle tests. Play G. So, the wiggle test. So, we're going to do the wiggle test. We do a wiggle test almost daily, weekly, with saxophones and clarinets. We make sure they play any note. Let's say concert F. So play a G for me. 1, 2, ready. Now, as you can see, when we did that, her whole head moved. Now, if her embouchure wasn't set, the mouthpiece would actually slide like this. Okay, and we don't want that sliding. Okay, create the seal again. Here we go. Embouchure 1, 2, ready, and go. Very good. Okay, saxophone and clarinet mouthpiece. Difference real quick. Clarinet has a cork on the back, or the one side, and the saxophone does not have a cork. One way you can tell really quick.